Okay, so it looks as though we are live for our other Just a Minute 11 Plus style. I'm going to leave it a couple of moments just until everybody is joining us and we know that everyone can hear us. So if you just bear with me one moment, Kevin, I can just make sure that everyone is here, everyone is hearing us, and if anybody is tuning in, that they're not missing our kind of conversation, because that would be a bit annoying. So I'm just going to refer to my other computer. I'm just going to see that we are being seen in the group and that we are being seen live. So.
Yeah, it's always good to check that we are indeed live.
Yeah,
far too many issues and far too many errors, but StreamYard is normally quite good, I think.
Perfect. So someone's just given us a like. That means that somebody can definitely see us. If you are live with us this evening, do give us a comment. Let us know who you are. If you're watching it on replay, give us a hashtag replay so that we know that you're watching it on replay. As ever, if there's any questions for Kevin, he will be able to answer them on the comments. I'm sure after the quick session. This is just a minute. And so the whole premise of this is that it's nice and a quick session, just so that everybody can get to know our resource providers that we have here at the 11 Plus journey. So I think everybody is in, people are listening. Kevin, how about you introduce yourself to me? Let me know who you are.
Yeah, sure. I assume I have a minute for this bit as well. Anyway. Yeah, sure. So my name's Kevin. I'm a dad of 2 kids, founder of Kid Coach app, and I spent 15 years in the corporate world after the University of Cambridge, all like good stuff, which I quit to start Kid Coach app because I'm just so passionate about what we do, and I'll talk about what we do. I'm sure it's a mix of education and parenting, 2 things that are very close to my heart.
Perfect. All right. So at the end, I will ask you about how we can view the app and everything, but this is our starting just a minute. As I said, it's a minute's worth of answer to our questions. Unlike the real just a minute, you can pause, you can repeat, and you can deviate. It would be a bit hard otherwise. So
yeah, sounds good. And I'll share with the audience because I think they'll find it funny, and also maybe I was being a bit dumb. But this was positioned as a jam session, JAM. So I thought it was just Gemma and I like jamming away, chatting away, talking away. But then I realised JAM means just a minute.
Just a minute.
So
we're trying to keep it
maybe
short.
That's just me. It's a good idea.
Right.
I like it.
Perfect. So first question, tell me, what is your product and who is it aimed at? And I have a handy little timer, which I'm going to start right here.
Yeah, no pressure. Look at that counting down. It's like it's accelerating away. Okay, so Kid Coach app is the name of my product. It's an app, both an education app and a parenting app, perfect for parents of 6 to 12-year-olds, and those parents who kind of want to be involved in their child's education, right? Not just leave it all to schools or tutors, but to do something themselves at home. And also those parents who kind of get that the world is changing really fast, and it's not necessarily just about the academic stuff anymore. It's about a wide range of softer skills, more 21st century skills. But also for those parents, the 6 to 12-year-olds, who are busy, right? Just really busy, having hectic lives. So you only maybe have 5 or 10 minutes to do something different in the evenings. So a parenting education app, that's perfect for those kinds of parents of 6 to 12-year-olds. That's what Kid Coach app is.
Brilliant. Okay. And the next question that we've got is, what problem does it solve and what is unique about it?
Yeah, so on the uniqueness point, I had a lovely comment from Mum, who's a subscriber. She said, there are so many apps out there on math and English, but I've never come across an app like yours before. And to be honest, I was surprised there's no app like this either, right? An app that really focuses on the 21st century skills, that helps parents at home develop in their kids a bit of creativity, a bit of critical thinking, communication skills, leadership, empathy, resilience, mindfulness, all these array of 21st century skills, soft skills, human skills. This is what's unique about the app. And in a few moments, I'll give you some examples of questions in the app that we have that build this. But there's no other app that focuses on this, I don't think, to empower parents at home to develop these skills. And so much so that we even got featured in the BBC for this, which I was super chuffed about.
Perfect. All right. So completely unique. We don't think there is anything really out there like it. How can your product help children, tutors, and parents? There might be one more than others there.
Yeah, maybe on the parent side and the kids side for sure. So it's questions, right? It's questions for kids that get them talking and thinking and building these 21st century skills. So I think the best way is just to give you some examples. So if you want to develop a bit of creativity, there's a question, what are 10 things you can do with a cup? Yeah, one of our favorite ones. Maybe you're at the dinner table, you're looking at a cup. Okay, what are 10 things you can do with this? Okay, you can drink from it, maybe you can eat from it, flip it around, you can draw circles with it, stack them to make towers and so on. But can you think of like a cake with it? See, the power of teamwork, I wouldn't have thought of that one. So it's a great one to chat through with your child, helps them be more creative. And to rattle off other examples, how do you describe a car to an alien? Good communication challenge. Or is there life on other planets? It's good for critical thinking. What's a leader that you admire and why? Good for observing leadership skills. And why is it good to fail sometimes? Yeah, develops good resilience.
All right. And you said there it's not you picked more the kind of children and parents. I've used it before as a tutor. I've used it for 11 plus and 13 plus interview skills. Sometimes when a student is kind of tired of those traditional interview skills, I'll give them a couple from there that really just get them thinking, get them talking, and get them presenting their ideas. So it is useful.
It's a nice mental break, isn't it? It doesn't feel like learning. I think that's why it feels like a bit of a break when you're doing hardcore math and English revision or past papers. And if you just want a break, which is actually, it is actually learning, but it doesn't feel like learning for the kids.
Perfect. All right, next one. Is it 11 plus specific or does it cover a broader area? You also say from 6 to 12. What about the ages? Can they be stretched?
Yeah, for sure. So it is the sweet spot is 6 to 12, but if you have younger kids who are particularly verbose, great. If you have older kids who are just really up for thinking challenges, fantastic. But 6 to 12 is a sweet spot. And the tie into 11 plus, you just mentioned it, Gemma, is 11 plus interview preparation, right? So if you're going for the selective independent schools, your round one would be your academics, and your round two is going to be your interview. That's really where they're assessing character. And we all know this in our adult life as well. The CV gets us an interview, the interview gets us a job. Same thing with kids at 11 plus, right? The interview is increasingly the differentiating area. And it's in these interviews that they ask exactly these kinds of questions that I'm talking about. Should we all have magic wands? How would you reduce litter on the streets? Should children set their own bedtime? All these kind of fun thinking questions are crucial for interview skills and for life as well.
And for a couple of really, really selective schools, they've got that pre-assessment day. And I know that some of my students have come across debates on that day and really similar types of questions just to see how they can argue their point, but also listen to others. So that's definitely some of the pre-testing schools. They use those on kind of assessment days. So it does help with that kind of preparation.
Yeah, and that group work element is important, isn't it? Because often you're not thinking by yourself in a silo, you're thinking with a team. And so the parent and child can simulate this at home. And if you have multiple siblings, at the dinner table, maybe there's 4 or 5 of you, it's a great environment to have these dinner table type discussions. And on each of the conversation cards, we have sort of extra prompts and guidance. So it's not just the questions I've been giving you examples of, it's that plus some coaching points afterwards to really help them develop their skills.
All right. What other resources would you recommend? Preferably not yours, but other ones that are in this field?
Yeah, so a couple that come to mind. If it's the interview part that you're really keen about, well, the interview expert in our circles really is Afroza, isn't it? He's written this book, Parents' Guide to Preparing for Independent Schools Interviews. So Dr. Afroza Ahmed. And if it's more this 21st century skill building that you're interested in, because you know life doesn't end at 11 plus, and there is a whole life out there after that. There's a course I came across recently by a company called Be Unreplaceable. And I spoke to the founder recently. He's down in Australia. We found a time that works for both of us. And he showed me that he's got these videos for parents and kids and these activities for kids to do, again, to build creativity, critical thinking, communication skills, all these 21st century skills that the next generation will truly, truly need. The world is changing ever so fast. And if you want to be unreplaceable and not have a robot steal your job, this is what you need.
Perfect. All right. Right. On to the next one. Top tips. It could be year 4, year 5, year 6, could be all of them. What would be your top tips for our parents who are listening today?
Yeah, just building on what I just said, the world is changing crazy, crazy fast. And I don't want to be I don't want to be a scaremonger, and I don't want to be a bit of a doomsdayist, but the world is changing faster than it ever has before. 20 years ago, there was no Facebook, there was no iPads, there's certainly no StreamYard that we're going live on right now. 20 years ago, Google had just started, Amazon was just selling books. I mean, it's inconceivable, that world, right? That's just 20 years ago. And we know the world changes ever faster. So just imagine the next 10 or 15 years when our kids, our 6 to 12-year-olds, our year 4, 5, 6 parents, when those kids grow up and start working and interacting in the grown-up world, I mean, what kind of world will it be in? It'll be completely different, won't it? So I would say, please don't overly focus on the academics. Math, English is important, of course, especially for the 11 plus exams, but recognize that there's a whole world and life beyond that and prepare them for the future, prepare those extra 21st century skills in them.
Perfect. Yeah, it's something that I think is really important, especially in terms of things like looking after your health. This is kind of the year 4, year 5, year 6. That's the point where your child starts to get a little bit more independent as well. So it's those two times, the time of the 11 plus, but also the time that your child starts to take their first kind of steps into independence, and you move more from a protective role to a model or a kind of leadership, I suppose, and you're showing your child what different strategies you have, and the same thing for kind of world readiness, really demonstrating where those skills are important.
Yeah, and as kids are growing up and becoming more independent, and when they hit sort of 12, 13, 14 and the teenage years, parents are scared of losing their kids, right? In some ways, losing them to big secondary school, to mobile phones and social media. And, that connection we want to keep with our kids is really important. And what parenting experts say to me who we work with is it's formed in those earlier years, right? And so if we have strong dialogue at home, we have strong conversations and connections at home when they're still 8, 9, 10 years old, then when they start getting a bit more independent and hanging out with their friends, which of course is totally natural, they'll still be anchored enough to mum and dad at home, right? Which is really, really important and obviously very healthy.
I have a client actually who there's several children, but they will always, boys are at boarding school now, but they will always come home in a weekend and they will always eat together. And he said the same thing. He spoke to parenting experts when his first son was born, and that's what they said. They said, to really kind of root them, make sure that you're all sitting down and you're all eating together and you're all discussing. And that will, I mean, his boys are now A-levels, GCSEs, and they come home all the time.
Yeah, the wise words parenting expert. Those dinner tables are so good for that, aren't they? The dinner table chatter. It's a lovely story.
All right. And so next one, what are you working on now? I don't know this one, so it'll be new.
Yeah, no, we're just working on always improving the app, the Kid Coach app, adding lots of great, quick, fun questions for kids. So it's funny, actually, just earlier this week, I had a meeting with our advisory board. So it's a bunch of education experts in there from the world of philosophy for children, if anybody's heard of that, and some parenting experts, one who's kind of been featured on BBC and Disney and ITV. Anyway, one of the clear messages they had for me was keep working on the fun, engaging content, right? So as an example, the Euro 2020 football championship is on, right? So I've been writing questions on football in our app because it's very appropriate for those kids who like football. So things like on creativity, perhaps, what new rule of football would you invent to make it super fun, right? Or other topics that kids are into, like dinosaurs, right? Would you rather be a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a Velociraptor, right? Strong or fast, basically. So content and questions on topics that kids are really into. That's a big focus of mine right now.
All right. So expanding that question range. And we actually have somebody who's written about the just here. Love the Euro questions. My son prefers to win a boring match, which I'm assuming is one of the questions that was asked on the app.
They'll have seen that somewhere, either on the app or Instagram or something. I think the question was, would you rather play exciting football and lose, or play boring football and win?
Yeah, you've got to think about your reasons behind why and what that might say. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Last question. I always like to ask a question about a game show, and this week's game show is Pointless. So Pointless is the aim of the game, in case people haven't heard of it, is to guess the answer that no one else in the audience has guessed, and those games that comes in categories. So what topic do you think you know so well that you would be able to choose a pointless answer for?
Yeah, crikey. This question I was expecting less, actually. So, I mean, I have to think about, what do I know really well. Shall I say the question and see if you can guess, and then reveal what the topic is?
I can't imagine that I'd be very good at this.
or anybody listening in, right? So, what is smash factor? Okay, what is smash factor? I'll narrow it down a little bit for you. In what sport do you talk about smash factor?
Oh wow, I have
Smash
no idea.
factor.
When you first of all told
guesses?
me that, I thought it was to do with music, and then I thought it was to do with mashed potato. So
smash factor. But that actually, like mashing potato, that would be a good smash factor thing, wouldn't it? What is your smash factor with mashing potatoes? No, it's playing golf. It's playing golf because I love golf. I know lots about golf. Doesn't mean I'm very good at golf, but I do love it. And smash factor, for those curious, are the ratio of ball speed to club head speed. So if your club head is hitting the ball at 100 miles an hour, but your ball launches at 120 miles an hour, then your smash factor is 1.2, which is about average, by the way, as smash factors go. But you always wanted to know that.
Something you know well enough to be able to guess or choose a pointless answer on. Brilliant. All right. So if anybody is watching and they are a resource provider, or like Kevin, they've got an app, and you would like to be answering our Just a Minute questions, then do drop us an email at 11plusjourney@gmail.com, and the team will hopefully sort you out a time. Calvin, tell us all about Kid Coach app. How can we get there? What can we do? What do we look for? Tell me all the links.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really easy. Just pull out your phone, go to your app store, either the Apple App Store or the Google Play App Store. Search Kid Coach app, all one word. Will be a blue and white icon there right at the top of the search results. Install the app, completely free. You get a 2-week free trial where it's 100% free. You don't even need to put in your payment details. So you really can just have a full look at the app for free, completely risk-free for 2 weeks. And then it's a subscription model. So it's only the price of a coffee a month. If you go for the annual plan, it works out to just over £3 a month. I mean, that's like a Starbucks latte a month, isn't it? Which people tell me is far too cheap, but because this is our launch year, I wanted to be generous. So just download the app in the App Store, start a free trial, and then if you love it, and I'm sure you will, then you might choose to subscribe after the 2 weeks. And one thing I'll say is that sometimes parents say to me that, looks great, amazing question, but I don't really have the time to do this. And my response would be, well, we all talk to our kids already, don't we? Let's just swap out some of the how was school today, and have you packed your bag for tomorrow, and some of the transactional stuff. Let's just swap it out for something more interesting. Other parents say to me, I'm not sure if I want to pay for yet another app. And the thing is, there's lots of great apps out there, but again, there's no app like this. Genuinely, there isn't, and this is what other parents have told me. And anyway, it's the price of a coffee. And sometimes parents say to me, I don't need this app because I can have stimulating conversations with my kids, which is amazing, right? Like, of course, not everybody needs the app. I'd be very arrogant if I thought so. And if you're having these amazing, stimulating conversations with your child every day, then amazing. Like, I wish I was growing up in your home. But if you could do that, the odd inspiration, and I know how it is at the end of a busy, long working day, you're tired, you just want to kick back. You want to enjoy the conversation with your child rather than think hard about clever questions, then I really do think the app is a good stimulating prompt. So check it out, Kid Coach app on the app stores, 2-week free trial, and I'll see you in there.
Perfect. And do you have a website? Is there a website for it as well?
Yep, www.kidcoach.app. Kidcoach.app, or just search Kid Coach app. Will be right up there.
All right, and we'll drop that also in the comments so that people can reach there. Perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks so much for coming on. I can see
Thank
that the
you.
people have been writing comments as we're going along. Again, if you're watching this on replay, give us a hashtag replay. If you've got any questions for Kevin, then do just write them in the comments. But thanks ever so much for coming on. As always, I say thank you to Subba, who's for letting me come on and again run things, and thanks for all of you guys at 11 Plus Journey for listening to us. I think that's us for today, and that's our Just a Minute session.
Thanks, everyone. Good chatting.
All right then. Bye bye.